What is your WTF did I just watch movie? What is something you should not bring up to your therapist? What famous person is ugly hot? I once read Matt Smith being described as looking like a caricature of a handsome man. Matt Smith is the guy from Morbius and nothing else, right? Jermaine Clement, it's the voice. Cillian Murphy is creepy hot. Would Adam Driver qualify? Adam Driver is not ugly. He's actually a decent looking guy. He's just a regular dude. I'm just here because the answers and descriptions people are coming up with are properly making me laugh. My favorite so far, Ed Sheeran is a bridge troll. Simon Cowell would look the same if you put his head and feet on backwards. Truly shows the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Adam Driver. The first time I saw him take off that mask in Star Wars, I was like, you are the opposite of my type. But the longer I kept looking at him, like, I wasn't used to his face at all, and I just had to get used to him. Willem Dafoe. While I think he's just hot, I have been told Jeff Goldblum. Just because he's eccentric does not make him ugly hot. Woody Harrelson. Sexy as hell in The Cowboy Way, and reconfirmed sexy in Zombieland. Steve Buscemi. Rami Malek. What is a fact that scares you? That something like close to half of murders reported in the US are never solved. That's just of the reported ones. Any day, you could have a stroke and lose all your autonomy and become as dependent as a baby. The number of people older than me will never increase. That any of us could have a brain aneurysm right now and not even know it's coming. For some reason, the fact that you poop or pee yourself when you die. I know that it won't matter because I'll be dead anyway, but I've always been weirded out by that. Look up coffin birth. You'll be enlightened. For the love of God, please nobody look that up. Something about this subject makes me want to believe I shouldn't look that up. My retirement options are basically a gun. Bank robbery? That outside of our planet, zero of our achievements or history, language, currency matters. It can all be erased in a second and there would be no knowledge of us ever existing in the first place to anyone else in the universe. We are meaningless outside of the sphere. We only live for about 4,000 weeks. Okay, well, congratulations. This is the comment that messed me up. This thread is a fast track to depression. What used to be cool that's not anymore? Sidekicks. The Boost mobile phones that used to chirp. What? I don't know what that is. Is that, it just sounds like a pager. Middle-aged dudes with one earring, a soul patch, and Ed Hardy t-shirts. How's a middle-aged dude now supposed to signal that he's single in DTF? BlackBerry phone. I miss mine. The keyboards were the best. MySpace. Ironically, Facebook too while we're at it. Aim away messages. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. My mother-in-law said she and her husband would go to the Playboy Club for appetizers and drinks. She says that was the time. She enjoyed it. Popped collars. I hope this never comes back. Electronics with transparent plastic housing. This was the height of cool. Being able to see how all your stuff was working as you were using it. GTFOH. We need to bring this back for sure. Whatever the next like Nintendo console is after the Switch that comes out in like a year or two, it needs to be that transparent plastic housing on the controllers. It has to. Tying an onion to your belt. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. Loom bands. What kind of music did the Loom bands play? Me, according to my kids. What is your comfort TV show? For me right now, currently, it's Bluey. I know it's a kid show, but it's like, in my opinion, it's more of like a kid show that teaches parents how to parent, and kids just like it, you know? I'm not a parent, of course, I just like the show, it's cute. Malcolm in the Middle, The IT Crowd, Parks and Rec. I love all those characters so much, and love how it ends with all of them succeeding. The Great British Bake Off. Started making it, had a breakdown, bon appetit. The Good Place. What We Do in the Shadows. Your ordinary human bartender never fails to deliver a good mood. I often put on the Food Network when I'm just relaxing and there's nothing new that I want to watch. Particular favorites are Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay. Scrubs. Modern Family for me. Watched each episode at least 5 times, but it still feels like a warm hug every time I watch it again. Arrested Development. There are so many ridiculous layers, I always catch a little joke I missed before. What's your all-time favorite quote? Do what you can with what you got where you are. Theodore Roosevelt cuts through any excuse. A man has 2 lives, and the second begins when he realizes he only has one. Confucius paraphrased. The problem with the world is that the intelligent people are full of doubts while the stupid ones are full of confidence. Charles Bukowski. The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain. Taste the rainbow. How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Reminds me to be grateful for the people I've lost, and while I'll always grieve them, I'll try to remember the good memories. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. Douglas Adams. Don't you let lecture me with your $30 haircut. Moderation in all things, even moderation. You can have all the money in the world, but there's one thing you will never have. A dinosaur. Homer Simpson. What is a basic skill you just can't grasp? Whistling. This was the first one that came to mind for me. Is present wrapping a basic skill? Because I really can't at all. And I don't understand how other people do it. The past couple years, I've been having my coworker, who's an older lady, help wrap my presents for me. I would bring them to work, and then she would just wrap them for me on off time. This year, I just gave up and put them all in gift bags. Remembering faces and names. Some people will stick in my brain. Some people will introduce themselves, and a day later, I will have forgotten what they look like. If I meet them again, I'll have no recollection that we spoke before, purely by looking at their face. I live in fear that I'll introduce myself to someone that I was talking to for an hour just 1 week ago. Spreading butter on bread. They make it look easy, because they leave it out on the counter in a butter dish instead of putting it in the fridge. Drawing. It's deceptive in how hard it seems. It's just lines on paper, but after 3 years, I still didn't understand. How do I wear a scarf well? I've only ever seen 2 people pull off a scarf. My 4th grade elementary school teacher and Chris Jericho. Blowing a bubble with bubblegum. I am utterly incapable. I struggle with writing comments. You did it! What was the last song you listened to? Let me check my Spotify really quick. The last song that I had that was in my playlist on my drive home from my day job was Under Pressure by Logic from his Under Pressure album. Really good album. Highly recommend it. Probably one of his best ones, if not his best one. Something in the way. I don't know what song this is. The last song I listened to was Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. It's an oldie, but a goodie. It's only 8 years old. There's no way that someone called a Bruno Mars song an oldie. Brother, no shot. 21 Questions by 50 Cent. About You by the 1975. Hearing this live a couple months ago was absolutely incredible. When I found out they just finished their tour in North America, I was heartbroken. Glad you got to live it. My brother actually went to go see them with his girlfriend recently. I've been a fan of the 1975 for a couple years now. I haven't listened to their newest album yet, but I like listening to their old stuff. I like, Somebody Else and Love It If We Made It, stuff like that. Good band. Pink Floyd, Dogs. Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Amber by 311. Take a Chance on Me by ABBA. I just want to say this now. ABBA, unironically, top 5 musical groups of all time. ABBA is in top 5. I will not, and I repeat, I will not argue with this fact, because it's a fact. Money for Nothing by Dire Straits. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, just played on a new playlist. Venga Boys, Boom Boom Boom. I was just singing the Dave Chappelle Pick on You song to myself. Drip, drip, drip. What's something people do that really irritates you? When you're talking to someone and you can see in their eyes that they've stopped listening and are just waiting for their turn to talk. Chew with their mouth open. Not using a forking blinker. Ask a question and then interrupt as soon as someone starts answering it. Customer service in a nutshell. Lack of common courtesy. Sure, we don't know anyone anything, but maybe hold the door open for that person behind you, or don't block someone's path, or say sorry if you bump into someone. Walking slow and taking up the entire path or aisle or hallways, etc., because they're that oblivious or self-centered. Whichever it is, I don't care. You're an Not saying please or thank you. People who stop right in front of you while walking, or people who leave their shopping carts in the middle of an aisle so that nobody can pass. People that don't know personal space and get right up in my face. It's even worse when their breath smells like they just ate garlic. Smacking your lips while you chew infuriates me to the point that I deeply considered ripping the tongue out of offending human and throw it into the sun. What's wrong with smacking your lips? What is the most ridiculous thing your pet is afraid of? My pet is terrified of plastic bags. Whenever he sees one, he'll run away and hide under the bed. I guess it's because they make a lot of noise when you move them around. It's quite comical to watch. It's farts. Sneezing. My Great Dane retreats to the guest bedroom to hide every time my wife sneezes, but doesn't seem to care at all if anyone else does. If my cat sees me inhale when I'm about to sneeze, he bolts out of the room. His own reflection in the water bowl. The same damn dog has been trying to get him for 14 years, and it still frightens him every time. A yodeling pickle toy. What? That's a thing? Sure. Okay. Balloons. Birds overhead. Dude, you're 80 pounds. No bird is gonna mess with you. And they're like 400 feet away. Falling off of a couch or bed or table after it inflicted it upon itself. The opening of fizzy drinks. When I was driving down a street with my puppy dog Jojo with the window down, I drove by a local high school, and the bus was there. It was kind of early in the morning, and you know how the bus makes that depressurized noise when it opens the door? Like that tss. Yes, that went off as soon as we passed the bus and he flipped out. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It scared the hell out of him. What's a small thing that makes your day better? Silence. I can really relate to that one. Having genuine conversations with people. Reading through this thread really makes you realize how happy you can be by enjoying the little things and how easy it is to make someone else happy. When my dog decides she wants to cuddle, she only cuddles when she wants to. You better believe when that happens, I drop everything and savor every moment with my girl. My dog Jojo does this to me too. He's not a cuddler, but if I lay in bed and he decides to, plop down next to me, oh my god, I'm not getting up. I don't care what happens. Good coffee. The weather being pleasant makes everything else easier and more enjoyable. What would be a great reality show concept? I'd love to see a documentary of flat earthers trying to find the end of the world. 10 people in a house with a caged tiger. No one knows when the cage will open. I always love this idea. 15 gay housemates compete in a Big Brother style competition to win $1 million. One member of the household is an undercover straight guy. If the gay housemates vote him out, they split the cash between them. If he gets to the end, he keeps everything. Plot twist, all of the housemates are straight, and they all think they're the one undercover straight guy. America's next top prawn star. Who wants to get health care? Sick people compete to get their medical treatment paid for. Hopefully something that demeaning on air might get changed through. If not, then it'll be entertaining to watch. 10 Alzheimer's patients housed together. They are all dependent on coke. Whose line is it anyway is its name. That's a great pun, not a good joke. 10 of the highest Instagram followers are dropped into an active volcano each week. If they survive, then we know they deserve their fame. Kinda sounds like you just want to commit murder. Producers find people to get a shot at their dream career. If they can demonstrate they can perform at an acceptable level, they get to keep the job. Smell the cheese. Contestants pick random doors, all cupboard size, and at eye level. There will either be a block of cheese or a fist on the other side. What's a show or movie where your opinion of the character has changed as you get older and why? Home Alone. That family just sucks and they treat Kevin like crud. In high school, I used to think Walter White was bad. I'm 26 now and I recently rewatched the entire show and I cannot stand him now. He's petulant, sociopathic, and condescending and insufferable. The way he treats and speaks to Jesse throughout the entire show reminds me of how my dad used to speak to me. When I was 16 though, I thought Walt White was the ultimate badass. Red Foreman gets more and more relatable the older I get. Sex and the City. I didn't realize how awful they were until I was older. Now I realize they should all be single forever. I used to think Jim from The Office was funny and cute, but he freaking sucks. Friends. I watched it back in 5th grade, so I was young, but almost all the characters have something wrong with them. Joey's the only one that's somewhat okay. As a kid, I loved a Goofy movie for the catchy songs and related to Max wanting to get away from his dad. As a dad, I still love the catchy songs, but relate entirely with Goofy and end up sobbing at one point in the movie. Also, as a kid, I was too young to realize that the movie straight up starts with a puberty nightmare. Right, is that the one where like his feet get huge? I think I remember that from that movie. Fight Club, for sure. When I was 19, I thought Tyler Durden was an absolute badass. The pinnacle of manhood. Rewatching it in my 30s, I think he's like a little boy. Always running from something, scared to death of his own irrelevance, going to war with demons that only exist in his head. The entirety of Fight Club is so much like Peter Pan, there's no way it can be a coincidence. Dirty Dancing, Baby Should Be in the Corner. The Simpsons. I used to think Bart was funny and Homer was an idiot. Now I can relate to Grandpa Simpson. I can sympathize with Homer and Lisa, and Bart is just an irritant. For the next 30 minutes, everything is edible. What are you eating? My extra body weight. Damn, that one cut friggin' deep, lol. It's also paradoxical, which is lovely. The OP. Ooh woo. Ayo. Orbeez. They're not supposed to be Watton, but now that they are, better do it without being judged. My spelling died there, sorry. They look like they would taste food. What? None of this makes sense. The dead mouse in the mousetrap that I am currently just staring at from the kitchen. I should probably get off Reddit and go clean it up. The concept of time. Lava. It seems like it would just have the same consistency as ice cream. The one guy who goes on walks down my street early in the morning while talking on speakerphone. He is cake now. Those candles that smell like chocolate. The barbershop swirling signs. I've always wanted one of those for my room. Absolutely would not fit because my room is full of Spider-Man posters and Pokemon plushes, but the barbershop thing sounds fun. Probably taking a sip of Fabuloso or any other colorful cleaning product. Everything is already edible, if you're brave enough. Yeah, it's edible at least once. What is the best smell in the world? Just brewed dark roast coffee and gasoline, since I'm a weirdo. Freshly baked bread. Might sound weird, but the smell of a cold cellar just hits different, especially when it's hot in the summer and you walk in and that cold air hits you. Vanilla. New tennis balls out of a tin can. Smell of soil when it rains. Toss up between freshly cut grass and rain on hot bitumen roads. My cat's forehead. Freshly printed money. Smells from your childhood that you can't explain probably. What game do you have the most hours in and how many hours? Over the 11 years that I've been playing Minecraft, I probably have somewhere between 9 and 10,000 hours on that game. If I could check between all of my computers I've ever played it on, my Xbox 360, my Nintendo Switch, all of them, it would probably be like 9 or 10,000 hours. And I know that's over a year, but I think it is. World of Warcraft, and I likely have over 10,000 hours in it. I'm honestly glad I will never know how much time I spent playing The Sims 3. I have 2,400 plus hours on Star Wars The Old Republic. How is that possible? Horrible math on my part. Red Dead Redemption, I'm at 100% and probably 36 hours in. But I just did a playthrough of Assassin's Creed 4 and just did the story, and I'm at around 24 hours. Tetris, a ridiculous number of hours. Farming Simulator, between 19 and 22, I have at least 1,500 hours. Pokemon Go, 30 minutes a day on average over 6 years. Let's do the math there. 6 times 365, 2190 times 30. 65,700 minutes. That's a lot. 65,700 divided by 60. 1,095 hours. Crazy! What is your favorite music lyric of all time? I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the Walrus. Goo goo gajoob. Every generation blames the one before. The Living Years by Mike and the Mechanics. That line pops into my head a lot. She's living in LA with me best old ex-friend Ray, a guy she said she knew well and sometimes hated. Who wants to live forever? Who dares to live forever? Who wants to live forever when love must die? And all your money won't another minute buy. Dust in the Wind, Kansas. Sometimes to stay alive, you gotta kill your mind. I'm up and coming like I'm frickin' in an elevator. It's a pretty good crowd for a Saturday, and the manager gives me a smile, cause he knows that it's me and they've been coming to see to forget about life for a while. Not the most popular lyric from this song, but my fave. The piano sounds like a carnival and the microphone smells like beer. They sit at a bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? I wrote the song to say, things won't always be this way. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. I'm sad because my goat just died today. What is a hard rule that needs to be added to social media? Have a source to back up your claims. Fact checking. Don't have a YouTube account if you're under 13. Watching normally is fine, but kids shouldn't be able to comment or upload themselves. No posting photos of other people's children without parental consent. The minimum age for social media should be 18 and enforced. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, you can't post it. No more life bans. They don't work. What movie had no business being as good as it is? Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It's a sequel to a spin-off of a franchise that hasn't been relevant since like 2006, and damn it, if it wasn't one of the best movies of 2022 and among the greatest animated films of all time, it should have been nothing more than a forgettable family-friendly distraction. Instead, it's a touching, funny, surprisingly mature, wildly imaginative, and even occasionally scary masterpiece. Why is there just a Google Calendar picture in here? Oh, your birthday's on the 15th. Happy birthday, early birthday. Hope you're having a great time. What is the best video game ever made? GTA 5, no contest. No game has brought in that much money across multiple generations of consoles, including add-ons. It also has a humongous online/RP communities. Not to mention, it's just a great game in its own right. The Last of Us Part 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 1, or Modern Warfare 2. Both are classics. Minecraft, changed the industry forever. The gameplay is as fun as Super Mario 64, the graphics are iconic, it has more content and concepts than any other game, and the replayability is up there with Tetris. 8 years of playing it, and I still discover new things about it, and it's fun as hell. Unanswerable depends on your taste. People saying Tetris should actually be saying Pong. Anyway, my answer is Okami. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Why does this have two downvotes? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the best 2D platforming Sonic. Like, no debate. And except Sonic Mania, of course. Sonic Mania is the best one. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2, back in its time, was the best. Halo 3. My life. Default difficulty level? Hard. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. What is something you should not bring up to your therapist? It's either kept secrets or go to Grippy Sock jail. The times that I think I needed to go to Grippy Sock jail. I'm so glad I don't have a therapist. That you find them attractive and wouldn't mind dating. That my credit card was declined. That there was a lot of patients screwing their therapists. That you killed your previous 4 therapists. I would much rather my patient would disclose that to me sooner than later. Well, if it's something you're afraid of bringing up, how does that help the therapist? I figure if you're seeing a therapist, spit out everything. That's where you begin. That you want to destroy and consume their beautiful hair. Nothing. Many years ago, I was about to do something and thought, should I lie to my therapist about this? Then had the sudden realization that anything you would lie to your therapist about is a pretty good sign you shouldn't do that thing. Good call. I'm gonna keep this question in my back pocket. Literally, my entire mindset with therapy. Haha. Your search history. Don't ask to smell her feet, especially when you're there for sex addiction and married. Crimes. You shouldn't share recent crimes if you don't want to be arrested. That being said, it'd be good for society if you did. Once a client asked me if I ever felt like an emotional proceeded to explain to me that I couldn't end our conversation until the end of the hour even if I wanted to. Even that was fine and useful. He was afraid of abandonment and thought I wouldn't be there without the money. I think anything goes except touch or violence. What is your WTF did I just watch movie? Kids. Two things about this movie. One, Kids is a messed up movie. Two, I Have No Legs has been stuck in my head for about 14 years now. It even got me in trouble because I was singing it without realizing when I turned a corner to a guy in a wheelchair with, you guessed it, no legs. Gummo. Honestly, anything from Harmony Korine. Rubber. Why did they make this movie? No reason. Why did I enjoy this movie? No reason. Why are you bad-mouthing this movie? No forking reason. Sorry to bother you. Yeah, that ending? Seriously, WTF. Mother. Watched it years ago. Can still hear that snap. I'm thinking of ending things. Yeah, this one was so upsetting. It felt like a sad and bad dream. Made me feel this horrible pit of darkness, loneliness, and banal despair in my stomach. All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.